Next signed up to testify, Russ Belville. If you could introduce yourself and tell us who you're with for the record, and we are limiting testimony to 3 minutes, so the time is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and esteemed senators. My name is Russ Belville. I'm a lifelong Idahoan. My parents are born in Idaho, and 5 generations of my family have called Idaho home. I'm a spokesperson for the Idaho Citizens Coalition, and we represent the over 200,000 Idahoans who use cannabis. I'm here today to thank you and to urge you to pass H126. Just 8 years ago, this legislature, quote, stated its opposition to efforts to legalize marijuana for any purpose in the state of Idaho, end quote. Now, 3 years after the federal government has legalized industrial hemp and every other state in America has followed suit, Idaho stands poised to finally take the tiniest baby step away from cannabis prohibition. By passing H126, Idaho will no longer be the only political jurisdiction in all of the North American continent to criminalize the licensed cultivation of hemp. While H126 is a step in the right direction, we must caution casual observers that this bill does not legalize industrial hemp outright. All it does is legalize the possession, production, processing, and transporting of hemp if one has the proper license. A farmer with a license can grow it, a trucker with a license can transport it, but if the average Idahoan possesses it without a license, it's still classified as illegal marijuana and they're going to jail. That means parents wishing to use hemp-derived CBD to treat their child's epilepsy will still be criminals in Idaho, but nowhere else in America. That means a home builder who'd like to insulate with hemp-based materials is still a criminal in Idaho, but nowhere else in America. That means a driver who'd like to run his biodiesel engine on hemp seed oil is still a criminal in Idaho, but nowhere else in America if any of those products have even the slightest bit of THC in them and they don't have a license. H126 does provide for hemp commerce from other states to pass through Idaho and for Idaho farmers to produce hemp to be exported out of state, but H126 still maintains the criminality of hemp in state, so no Idaho consumers could benefit from Idaho hemp. All of this, of course, is to fulfill the legislature's prime directive when it comes to cannabis. Don't do anything that prevents police from arresting adults who smoke pot instead of drinking booze. Whether it's medical marijuana or industrial hemp, it's not Idaho doctors, it's not Idaho patients, it's not Idaho farmers or Idaho consumers you seek approval from, it's the Idaho State Police. Still, as it is a progressive step forward in the smallest possible way, we support the passage of H126. Thank you, and I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Belville? Representative Moon?
Thank you, Chairman and Mr. Belville. I appreciate your letter, and I did read it a couple of times already. So I guess my question is, don't you think it would make sense to remove hemp from Schedule 1 before running this bill?
Mr. Chair, Senator, Representative, excuse me. Yeah, I think that would probably be the sensible thing to do. What we're seeing throughout the world and throughout the United States is a recognition that hemp at below 0.3% THC is not a drug. It's not going to get anyone high. Keeping it in Schedule 1 to treat it as a drug is like putting powdered sugar in Schedule 1 because it looks like cocaine. It makes no sense. The only sense it makes is to police. Police don't want hemp to be legal because then they have to go to a different test. When they pull someone over on the side of the road, eastbound I-84, during which I saw 4 Idaho State Police camped out there today on my way in, the police, when they pull you over on I-84 and they find you with a baggie of marijuana, they have a test that tells you, does it have THC in it or not? That's a cheap test. It's an easy test. They can do it right there on the roadside. The problem with legalizing industrial hemp from the police's point of view is now they have to test how much THC is in that baggie. That can't be done on the roadside. That has to be done in the crime lab. So all we're doing here, putting all these restrictions on farmers and all this licensing and all this burdensome bureaucracy, is just so police don't have to use a more expensive test to bust an adult who smokes pot. And I hope that answers your question.
It did. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony
Thank you, Mr.
today.
Chair.